Magandang araw, mabuhay everyone. I'm Jeneline B. Ilarina from DSTM1 Industry. So what is climate change? Climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. These changes have a broad range of observed effects that are synonymous with the term climate is the general weather over a long period of time. This can include rainfall, temperature, snow, or any other weather condition. But since the 1880s, human activity have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels, oil, and gas, which produce heat-trapping gases. This event can act through mechanisms similar to those of traumatic stress, leading to understood psychopathological patterns. In addition, the consequences of exposure to extreme or prolonged weather-related events can also be delayed, encompassing disorder such as post-traumatic stress or even being transmitted to the later generations. Climate change is one of the great challenges of our time. The consequences of climate change on exposed biological subjects as well as on vulnerable societies are a concern for culture scientific community. Rising temperatures, heat, waves, floods, tornadoes, hurricane, fires, and loss of forests, along with the disappearance of river and desertification, can direct and indirectly cause human pathologies that are physical and mental. However, there is a clear lack of psychiatric studies on mental disorder linked to climate change. So now let's proceed to the Article 1. The Article 1 is all about the impact of climate change on mental health. This study examined the effects of global climate change on the general population as well as at the risk group and vulnerable communities. It focuses on extreme events such as those produced by temperatures increases, waves, floods, tornadoes, heat, and wildfires. Consequences have been described in terms of distress symptoms, suicide rates, and clinical disorder, depression, anxiety, sleep disturbance, PTSD, and etc. Even though some of these events may occur in a slower and less manner, most of these events are rapid in their onset and manifest themselves in the form of disaster. The reaction to which often see PTSD as a phototypical model. On the other hand, we could support the idea that people who are more sensitive to weather atmospheric phenomena may be more affected by gradually occurring global climate change and their consequences, such as global warming, rising sea levels, landscape changes, and the loss of familiar environmental landmarks. Moreover, the disappearance of animals and plant species may bring about feeling of hopelessness and depression. When the person's feeling about their environment are considered, it should be clear that we are moving toward a cultural and contextual dimensions. Climate change impact mental health, particularly for vulnerable population in those with pre-existing mental illnesses. Direct effects include stress-related conditions like PTSD from extreme weather events, while indirect effects involve disruptions to economic and social activities. The wound inflicted on the symbolic domain causes more complex psychopathological consequences, such as identifying disorder or long-term personality changes, as seen in trauma related to extreme weather events and loss of familiar landscape, or dissociative syndromes, as seen in trauma related to extreme events or in migratory syndromes. Lastly, we also need to learn how meteoropathy and weather sensitivity paired with environmental and climate changes deeply influence the psychosomatic experience of mankind. activating mechanism of somatization and conversion, inducing somatic disorder and physical illnesses or worsening previous existing distress at the body level. These psychiatric disorder inequality in quantity are linked to the type of evolution of postmodern societies. In short, all of these issues need to extensively studied, and clinical experience should be gained in order to support our provisional conclusion. The challenge of climate change will be protracted in the upcoming years. Therefore, this branch of eco-psychiatry will be supported by new data sets and further studies. Climate change has an impact on a large part of the population in different geographical areas and poses different types of threats to public health. However, the delay in the studies on climate change and its mental health consequences is an important aspect. The lack of literature is perhaps due to the complexity and novelty of this issue. It has been shown that climate change has affect mental health in different times. The phenomenology of the effect of climate change differs greatly. Some mental disorders are common and others are more specific in relation to a typical climate condition. Moreover, climate change also affects different population groups who are directly exposed and more vulnerable due to their geographical condition, as well as a lack of access to resources, information, and protection. Perhaps it is also worth underlining that in some papers, the connection between climatic events and mental disorder was described through the introduction of new terms coined only recently: eco-anxiety, eco-guilt, and etc. And now, let's proceed to Article 2. Climate change impact on flood and extreme precipitation increases with water availability. So this study reveals significant and robust changes in food and extreme precipitation intensity due to global warming across different climate regions. Regionalization reduced the noise of extreme event, resulting in more robust results. Dry region experienced an increase in extreme precipitation and expected decrease in total precipitation, supporting the "it never rains but it pours" pattern. The study also highlights a connections between food and extreme precipitation changes and spatial and seasonal water availability, with a larger increase in regions and seasons with higher water availability. Limited climatological water availability in a dry environments may cause extreme precipitation increases, while amplified atmospheric moisture convergence can intensify the effect of extreme precipitation. The study uses two hazard qualification methods based on a multimodal ensemble of 20 members, including 4 GCMS and 5 IMS. Other uncertainty sources such as hydrological model parameters, bias corrections approaches, and downscaling methods may further expand the uncertainty range. Extreme precipitation amplitude can increase flooding intensity and frequency, affecting aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem, human societies, and the economy. Changes in food characteristic and depend on spatial distribution, time evolution, rarity of precipitation, antecedent soil moisture conditions, snowmelt timing, and snowpack magnitude. Global scale food assessment have reported both decrease and increases in future foods under global warming. The relationship between precipitation and food extremely is stronger for less extreme precipitation and weaker for rare food events. Extreme precipitations and food change in different climate regions converge for more extreme events, with thermodynamic factors playing the main role in more extreme precipitation changes. Dynamic factors also contribute to regional precipitation changes for less extreme events, potentially weakening the thermodynamic effect. And also, climate change has a large impact on society because it can affect the world's water in complex ways, from unpredictable rainfall patterns to shrinking ice sheets, rising sea levels, flood and droughts. It can affect or disrupt food availability, reduce access to food, affect food quality, and affect agricultural lands. That's all. Thank you.